Welcome to Holding Down the Fort by U.S. VetWealth. I'm your host, Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and upcoming author. This season, we're helping seasoned spouses explore new opportunities and ideas outside the military so that they can make more confident choices for their next chapter. Why? Because you too are retiring, and now it's your turn. Let's get started. All right. Hey, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Can you believe? It's ridiculous how quickly 2025 flew by, but happy to be here. And I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday season. I sure did. And let's just dive into it. Let's just dive into the first interview of the year. But first, of course, I have to give you some quick announcements. If you are listening to this at the time of its release, our company, U.S. VetWealth, is hosting its first post-military career strategy circle on January 14th. 1 p.m. Eastern. So just to tell you a little bit about it, it's a free networking event that my husband and I are hosting on behalf of U.S. VetWealth in partnership with Blue Water Advisors and Patriot Care. So Patriot Care, for Chris and Larry, we had interviewed them last year, which is like funny to say because last year was just a couple of days ago. So this is the first that we're going to be hosting, and we hope to host more depending on the turnout and the feedback. But the idea of it is to host a professional roundtable for senior military leaders, recent retirees, and veteran leaders who want a more straightforward path to post-military and a stronger network to walk with. This session will bring together peers who understand the reality of transitioning from command-level leadership into corporate roles, consulting, entrepreneurship, or federal service. It's a space to exchange perspectives, compare notes on the job market, and build relationships with people navigating similar challenges. Of course, if you just want to show up to meet me and my husband, then come out. We'd love to have you. So the RSVP will be available in the show notes of this episode. Just visit insidethefort.com and you'll get all the information on it. So that is the first announcement. The second is I did not release any chapters of my book this holiday season because holidays. So I apologize, but you will be receiving more chapter releases soon. So in case this is your first episode, I have an upcoming book coming out called The Military Spouse Benefit Plan. And the purpose of this book is to educate our seasoned military spouses who are going through military retirement and, her and her husband are faced with the survivor benefit plan decision. And this book just offers information on understanding what it is and comparing what's available in the private market because you're going to be a private citizen. You're going to be living post-military life, and you deserve to know what's available to you because as civilians, it is normal to have options and choices and seek out a second opinion. And so hopefully this book will be that bridge for you to tap into what you already know as a military spouse, which is to, tap into that civilian part of you, navigating the military life and the civilian life, but applying that into making the survivor benefit plan decision. So more chapters will be coming out soon this month, and mainly because I'm saying it right now. Part of why I started this podcast again was to hold myself accountable. So if you are not subscribed to the show, be sure to do that at insidethefort.com. The first welcome email you will receive will tell you how to download the book for free, along with my husband's book, Don't Forget Your War Chest Strategy. That book is for our retirees. That is included in the download. So you get a lot of things just from subscribing. On top of that, I'm starting to accumulate a list of freebies for all of our subscribers. For example, in addition to getting a copy of my book and my husband's book, Don't Forget Your War Chest, I do offer free podcasting mentorship for seasoned spouses that are looking to, create a personal brand to kick off their post-military life. Also, Kiani, who is a previous guest on our show. She's been on here a couple of times, and you can check out her episodes from fall of last year. She is offering a free discovery call for her Mrs. P framework. That is in our newsletters as well. And just more freebies from the people that I've had the fortune to collaborate with since I've returned to the podcasting world. And last but not least, you also have the option to upgrade your subscription for free to become an insider at Holding Down the Fort to gain access to my private podcast, which is called Inside the Fort. And there you'll be able to hear part 3 of Kiani's interview that we had with her last year. So look at all that. Lots of free stuff. And hey, we're military. If it's free, it's for me, right? And hey, if you don't like any of the stuff I give you, you can unsubscribe. I don't care. That's your prerogative. That's your choice. That is your post-military choice to dip your feet into the world of Holding Down the Forts and maybe try it out, maybe sample a couple things. And if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. I will not take it personally. I don't even look at who unsubscribes anyway. And so just try it out. It's a new year. Why not? Why not check all the free resources simply just for subscribing? And again, you can unsubscribe anytime. No big deal. All right. So those are all of my announcements. That being said, let me introduce to you a returning guest, Teresa Shick, the founder of the Pillar Foundation and a Navy SEAL Special Operation Forces spouse, or SOF for short, SOF. Don't add the T because SOF spouses are not soft if you know the life that they have lived. Anyway, she's been a SOF spouse of a veteran for over 24 years, active duty. Her and her family have done 13 deployments, and so she understands the crucial role that SOF spouses play in holding their families and relationships together. So Teresa has been on our show, goodness gracious, like way back in, I think it was like March 2021, if I can remember off the top of my head. That's episode 94 that will be available in the show notes. At the time that we caught her, the Pillar Foundation was still in its ideation phase. So in this conversation today, you're going to hear how the Pillar Foundation began as an idea in 2017 when her husband was retiring from Navy SEALs after 24 years, how she gained nonprofit status in 2020, 3 years later, for her in-person, keyword in-person, retreat at the start of 2020. And so luckily, she was able to finally execute her mission statement in 2021, and she's been steadfast ever since. So in this conversation today, we're going to hear how the Pillar Foundation has supported SOF spouses 2 years before through 2 years after their husband's military transition. And she'll also share on a personal note how her and her husband went through military transition together, including how they navigated the survivor benefit plan decision, which is obviously something I'm always interested in since I'm writing a book about this. And more to come. This is only part 1. This will be part 1 of Teresa's interview, and we will have more to come the following Thursday for her part 2. So Teresa, thank you again for coming back to the show. It's great to have you. It's great to, check in on your nonprofit and to see how it's progressed throughout the years. And so for the listener, I hope that if you are a SOF spouse, I hope that you enjoy this conversation, and I hope that you look into Teresa's nonprofit, the Pillar Foundation. And without further ado, let's get into the conversation. All right. Hey, everyone. I am super excited to bring back a guest on our show. We have Teresa Shick with Pillar Foundation. Just quick thing. It's been a couple of years since she's been on the show. I mean, couple as in, March 2021. So without further ado, Teresa, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thanks for bringing me back from the way back time machine.
Yes. I've been going down memory lane lately, just reconnecting with people. And I just think it's so amazing to check in on people's businesses and how they've grown, how they've evolved, how things have pivoted. And when we first started talking with you, we were talking with Elaine and Jess, and the Pillar Foundation was just an idea at the time. So just quick thoughts on where you were then and where you are now.
Yeah, it was a fancy brainchild. So that was episode 94, should anyone want to dig back through the archives. That was my idea in 2017 as my husband was retiring from the Navy. He was a Navy SEAL for 24 years. And then, as ideas go, they evolve, they change, like you said, they pivot, they go to the back burner, life happens. 2020 happened. I actually got my nonprofit status in 2020. So,
Wow.
womp womp.
Perfect timing.
And my whole thing was in-person retreat. So it just caused me a ton. And then imposter syndrome comes along and you talk yourself out of it. But 2021, I had really had a fire lit underneath me and was really ready to go. And then when you came on and said, let me interview you, and two of my friends were doing their own thing too, same kind of realm, it was still a brainchild. And now we're 4 years later, we're starting our 5th year coming up, and it's been rocking and rolling. So happy to say it has gone down the path that I envisioned it would. Like, I haven't changed my mission statement. If anything, my mission statement has grown to include more special operations spouses. So I'm happy that what I thought on for 3 years, 4 years, it took that long, it's still working. But that, I mean, it's a little tidbit for those who want to start their own thing. You got to think on it for a long time because you don't know what's going to work until you start working. But I'm happy that it took the direction that I wanted it to take.
I recently spoke with a past guest. She said that it took her like 3 years to get to the level she's at now. And I love hearing these stories because, success doesn't happen overnight. And I think that journey, the years that it takes, it's not just to grow the business, but it's to grow you. It's to develop you to be that person. And so I just think it's amazing to hear that you've committed to the process, for one, and that your mission has been very consistent, throughout these years.
It has. The mission statement of Pillar Foundation is to assist. The first mission statement was to assist the spouses of Navy SEALs through the transition of when the service member is retiring or medically discharging or separating from the military. We would take the spouses, which are 99.9% female, through that 2-year walk of what does it look like to get yourself ready for he's coming home? What does it look like to get your kids ready, your house ready, your spouse ready? Do you need to go back to work, or is it time to stay home? Is he going to continue to work, or does he get to stay home? All those ups of when you're retiring, logistically, financially, but then the mental piece, the spiritual piece, the emotional piece is way bigger than all the rest. And the military, as far as I'm concerned, does not prepare the spouse very well for what's about to walk through the door when the service member is done. And that's our goal, is to get the spouse ready professionally, personally, to handle that 2-year kind of a crisis mode your family will go into, good or bad, but get them ready for that. Throw resources at them, send them on a retreat so they can meet ladies where they're going to live whenever they move to where they're going to land. Really, everything you can think of, whatever the spouse says she needs, and that's something we'll try to facilitate for her. End goal being stop the divorce rate. The divorce rate is incredibly high for special operations, and we have now expanded to serve all special operation forces spouses. It's a mouthful, special operation forces spouses, but that's who we serve.
The SOF spouses.
The SOF
for short.
Spouses. Yeah.
In case anyone's curious.
SOF spouses. My phone wants it to say soft, SOFT. So not that. We're not
like
soft at all.
Autocorrect. Yeah.
We are not
far
soft.
from soft, you guys. Far from soft.
Yeah.
Well, you've been at this for a couple years now. Have you noticed, I don't know, an improvement since you started in regards to helping military spouses?
I've noticed an awareness. And maybe that's because I live in this space, but I've noticed an awareness within ourselves. As the spouses come to me and they say, okay, I've heard that this is, going to be kind of, pardon my French, a shit show. I'm like, well, yeah, a little bit. So they're more aware of what's going to happen, because transition is also mental health, and transition seems to be the topic. Maybe that's just not algorithm, but since that's more of a heightened topic, the women do come to me and say, oh gosh, like the guys are going through 3 or 4 different programs or training programs or different classes. And then they go, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm like, well, fun fact, nothing for you. That's why we're here, because the government, the military doesn't have spouse classes. If they do, I'm unaware. Somebody let me know. But I think it's just
Yeah.
the awareness is there. Like, oh boy, let's talk about how this is going to be hard and talk about how it's going to be hard. And that's okay. Because what we've been doing our whole marriage is what? Kicking the can and not paying any attention to, and just like, we'll deal with it later. You're deploying. We'll deal with it later. You're deploying. You're just coming home. We'll deal with it later. So suddenly he walks the door and it's just all there. And so I think that the awareness piece is coming to light, which is good.
It must be so interesting. I mean, do you feel like your time in the military was like a blink of an eye? Like looking back in hindsight, which I know has been over 8 years ago, but in hindsight, tell me, like, how does it feel now?
It's that beginning stage when you're like first married and he's in 2 or 3 years, or maybe you met him during boot camp, and that drags on. And for us, that was pre-war. So totally different time. And now can I say we're post-war? I don't even know. Are we post? I mean, I know we like are, but I don't know if people are referring to us yet as post-war. Pre 9/11. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Totally different. I was young, in love. We're in San Diego, the whole thing. And that was only 98 to 01 when we had that freedom of just being married and, no kids. And then 9/11 happened, and that's when everything shifted. And then it was like, boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happened like when you're raising kids. Blink, don't blink, it's over. I don't recall some years. I did have 4 kids, and I did have them very fast.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So then there's that whole mommy thing of like, I'm not real sure how I got through those 5 years. But yeah, it did go by so fast. And there's times in our marriage where we like, I don't remember that year. Like what happened in 08? All I know is like 7 guys died and I was pregnant. And then like you deployed. Like it's just, you start to do those years by deployment. You were gone and then you were home, and then there's always a death, and then you were gone again. And that's how we look at those years. My therapist actually is having me do a timeline of my life. But if I could do a timeline on marriage, I feel like I'd have like 6 things to write about because I have 4 kids. And before that, I met him and I married him. That's not true. We don't have just 6 events, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just, you just push it aside. It's sometimes so hard and scary. And then we just go, oh, that was a really hard year. Next year. But yeah, it was a blink. And it was a blink. This 8 years feels like longer than the 24
Mm-hmm.
that we had. I think because we're just in it. We're more present. He's more present. We're not in danger.
Yeah.
War danger. It feels weird. The after part feels weird in a good way. It's hard. I mean, those who are retired,
it's definitely an adjustment, right? It was definitely an adjustment, but must be really interesting to be like, oh, I don't have to prepare for another deployment, or I don't have to prepare for another PCS, or I don't have to prepare for the anticipation of someone potentially dying.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how much quieter it must feel, and maybe the mixed feelings around
boring.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
boring,
okay.
but not.
I was
It's
trying
not
to use
boring.
different words. Yeah.
Well, what I do get to prepare for though is like next June, and he'll be here for it. Like we're going to go on vacation, and I don't have to wait for the Navy to say if you can go.
Yeah.
Our daughter's getting married in May. Yeah, our oldest is getting married in May. I know he'll make that. I mean,
Yeah.
I know when he says, I'll pick the kids up today, he'll make that. So
Yeah.
that took, I think I even I said that in the last podcast with you. That took me like 2 years to remember that he's a grown adult who can help me. And it took him one day raising his hand, because I was like, I got to pick up this one. I got to take this one. And then, you're like, I'll have to be 4 different places at one time. And he just says, well, what can I do for you? I was like, nothing. You can't do anything for me. You never could do anything for me. I do all the things. And he's like, what do you need me to do? And then I started to task him. That sounds so like I'm talking about a teenager, but he's got to understand how to get back into our rhythm too. So I was like, can you pick up little Johnny at 3? You can't forget. It has to happen. I'm relying on you. And that started to trickle into my life, that like, oh, I have another adult, like another legit adult who can help me. It takes a little bit to understand that. So it's not boring. That's the wrong word. Predictable, which we haven't had.
Good. Yeah. It's a change of pace.
Slower.
And I'm sure with that comes like mixed feelings, but regardless, it's different. I think that's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Our kids are older.
Yeah.
Like I need him more now. I mean, you need logistically, like you need your partner there when you have little ones running around, because you're just, But now I have 3 teenagers and 2 in college and 1 getting married and 1 going to high school. It's just like, I need a partner. Like I need to bounce the idea off of somebody. I'm not just maintaining life now. I'm raising like adults. So it's nice to have another person to bounce things off of.
Yeah, let's go back to 8 years ago, because you're talking about how like, wow, it's so nice to have another person, like another adult, like help me in the house. But let's go back 8 years when you guys decided to retire.
Mm-hmm.
What did the team effort look like between you two to make that transition? And the follow-up I'll have for that is like, what was your role in it? How did you, let's say, step up in that process? Or what was your involvement in the process of military retirement? But let's start with the teamwork first.
Yeah, well,
if there wasn't any.
I wish you guys could see my face. I'm just like, ooh.
Only I can see your face, everyone.
Only she can see my face. They send into classes. Different branches have different classes. Different special operation branches have different classes, and they're all great. They all serve a purpose. I recommend your husband or spouse going to every class that's on. First of all, even if they don't want to, you can't hurt to learn and network for the future. But actually, we were at a retreat one year for a place called the VetWealth Foundation, and it was for couples that are transitioning. And I remember him saying like out loud in front of 6 other couples, "Well, you're not helping me here. I'm doing this all by myself." And I was just like, I can't help you. I can't go to the command and fill out your paperwork. I can't go to the VA and take your hearing test. I can't fill out your paperwork. What I can do is move us and choose a school and go, interview schools we want to go to, look at houses, because we knew we were going back home to Texas. Like we definitely had location as our number one, which a lot of people don't have. Like Texas was it, and everything had it revolved. But I felt like I was doing a gazillion things in the back end, and he's just ho-humming going to work. It's not true. That's not what he was doing. He had a lot. I physically can't go do your eye exam for you. And so we kind of fought over that. I was like, I'm going to stay in my box and you stay in your box. So there really wasn't teamwork because you can't.
Interesting.
I can't go to the VA. And then once we landed here, then that's when the teamwork came on more. I'm like, by the way, this is where our kid goes to school and you can go pick her up. Like, actually, it took my 3rd kid being in 10th grade before school called me and said, "There's a Mr. Gary here to pick up your kid." And I was like, "That's my husband." And she goes, "Yeah, we don't have him written down." I just forgot to include him for 20 years. Yeah. So the team, it's hard to have a team effort logistically. Emotionally, communication-wise, you can, but it's such a heightened time of transition. They're missing out specifically with special operations. They're going to miss out on the brotherhood. I'm going to miss out on my village, my sisterhood. They are done doing what they wanted to do their entire life at 40, 45. Like you can't be what you wanted to be when you were little anymore. Yeah. Go choose something else. So if that makes it heightened as far as emotions in your marriage, and I'm sitting here, I'm easy to blame. He's sitting there, he's easy to blame. Kids are easy to blame. But it's a hard time. That's why they say it's tough. It's just too much emotion for a family, and there's no leader anymore, and no one has grasp over what's going on. So you're just everywhere. It's like that crazy mom with all the hands and the arms and the hair. Like it's like that's what I feel like. Whoa, like Medusa or whatever. You just can't control it.
Yeah,
which is hard for military spouses because what's the one thing we have is control. Usually, our inner control, our control of our household, our control over our children, not control over what he does and where he goes. We are down. We got it. We're type A.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you're like, phew, you're out. You're like, woo, no one's telling me where to go and what to wear and how much money to make, and the retirement, the money, the disability. Like, you're all just like a wing and a prayer on that stuff. That was a long answer. Sorry.
That was a great answer. I've heard so many similar stories, but I never like to assume that they're all the same. So to hear you describe that journey, just being reminded of the rush and the shuffle and the fire hose of information and, having the kids and moving to a new, moving somewhere else, like settling in Texas, like you said. It must have been a crazy whirlwind, and then now here you are, where it's a lot slower and quiet.
Yeah.
and
Took a
predictable.
bit. Yeah. Took a bit to accept that. Like understanding he'd be home to pick him up, or understanding we could choose, not just choose where we're going to live, but like decide. I mean, because the military goes A or B, if they even say that, and you choose A or B. But now we're not choosing, like we're deciding. Like it's everything is our decision. And that was so abnormal for us. Like somebody else dictated our marriage. We did the math when we got out that he was home half our marriage. At that point, it was 20 years. So, I mean,
Goodness.
home 10 years out of the 20. So that part's weird.
I mean, I just want to commend you both for having persevered and just exploring a whole different season, stage, chapter, book of your relationship. Because like you said, the divorce rate is real, you know, and when we work with clients, sometimes we get blindsided with divorce. Like we find out as we're working with them, like, oh, they're getting a divorce. And then that changes everything, you know, in regards to financial planning. Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, for some people, this is a blip in the military retirement process. But one thing that my husband and I really like to educate on, and what I'm constantly trying to find the language for, is the topic of the survivor benefit plan. The survivor benefit plan gets brought up when it comes to the pension. You kind of decide how do you want to protect your pension. And I'm curious what that was like for you and your husband when you were presented with that question about the survivor benefit plan. And knowing now that he's a financial advisor, what does it look like in hindsight? So let's start with that time, if you remember, because I know, again, with all the paperwork and the rush of military retirement, do you remember that time when you were going through your military retirement financial planning?
No, not even a little bit.
Wow.
Apparently,
I love it.
Apparently, I'm supposed to, as the spouse, sign off on SBP, whether or not because it's for me, because he's dead.
Right.
If I have it, he's dead.
Right.
And I'm so sorry. I'm too flippant about death, but that's what's happened. He has died, and I'm supposed to get it. But I asked him a year later. I was like, "Hey, SBP, do I have it?" And he goes, I think so. Like we both had to go back and look. I don't remember signing it. Apparently I did, but I do have a lady that I just met a month ago, and he's a retired admiral, and he died in a car accident, and they don't have SBP. And she's like, I didn't even know it was a thing. And granted, that he could have been out 15 years ago. I feel like that's also heightened awareness of the things we're saying. But I have no idea. I did know, what his rank was. I did know eventually, once we got his disability status, I did know what that meant about, because you can go online and get that pay chart. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
With spouse, without spouse, with kids, without kids. I did know what that meant for education for us. That helped us decide, besides the fact that we are definitely living in Texas. But Texas has Hazelwood education benefits for 100% disabled veterans. So if the veteran joined the military as a Texan from Texas, continued to be a Texan, and then came back to Texas, you have the Hazelwood benefit where you get a 4-year in-state school for free.
Wow.
Virginia has something similar, but it's a very long acronym, VASP or something. But with being 100% disabled, all my kids can go to a state school for free, and me. So I knew that. I knew those things because I was trying to make sure, don't just take 70%. You're a broken man. Like, these are the benefits. The big one that got him, honestly, was we don't have to pay for airport parking. He was like, done. Go to there.
Yes.
Done. Hunting license for free, airport parking for free. He's like,
yeah.
But no, I mean, I just saw what was like on the, the website. I didn't know. I just wasn't thinking he was, because he's financially minded. But no, I don't know that the average spouse thinks about it. And nowadays, the Nova Scotia Warfare has a program called R4SP, which stands for Ready for Soft Transition. Horrible acronym. But they take these guys through like 2 years of getting ready, and they bring the spouses into the meetings. So the spouse can sign off on SPP if that's what they want. He can look at their medical record and be like, oh, no, Jerry, remember that time you bumped your head and you saw stars and you decided not to tell the command because you were deploying? Like, time to put that stuff in your medical record, like to set them up for success on the other end. But we didn't have that. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot has changed. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's always affirming to hear testimonies like that, to recognize that. I mean, at the very least, you knew that it's something that you had the option of signing or not signing, whether or not you wanted it. And so it just, like I said, it helps me to hear that, to see if there's an opportunity to speak to the spouse in the rush of military retirement, if possible. Now, provided that obviously there's other ways to generate wealth and, build assets and all that. But that's one thing that I find very curious to explore more,
Mhm.
because it's part of military retirement. So I appreciate hearing that. And I love hearing how, when we were talking offline, how your husband is now a financial advisor. You have to tell me what led him to that path.
Ugh. Okay, he went through a
Well,
program.
okay, you guys didn't see this, but I saw Teresa's face.
I
I got to
never
see all
thought.
her reactions.
I know,
Go
and I
ahead. Yeah.
definitely don't not react. He went through a program called the Honor Foundation, which is amazing. And again, it's just for
Yeah.
special operations. But
Mhm.
it's 6 or 8 weeks, could be 9 weeks now, once a month. I'm sorry, once a week. And he came home and said, I'm going to go to this program called the Honor Foundation. I'll be gone every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 9, but they'll feed
Mhm.
me. And I was like, the hell you will. Like, we are getting
Yeah.
out. I have 4 kids. Like, we're trying to get just, and we don't PCS. So I didn't know what I was doing. And I was
Mhm.
like, you are not. And then he went, thank goodness. And they give him a bunch of tests, personality tests, there's mentors. And they
Mhm. Mhm.
said, you should be an entrepreneur and you're really good at math. And everything kind of led him to financial advising. And actually, his hunting buddies in Texas, they're with a couple of firms. They had been like, come join us, come join us. So it
Yeah.
just fell into his lap, but he does it well. He's always the budget guy. Like, he's the budget guy,
Yeah.
and I'm the free spirit. So he's like, let's
Yeah.
have a budget meeting. And I go, okay.
That's so great to hear. Sometimes, I mean, I went to college and all the things, but sometimes I just wish there was the test, that said, this
Yeah.
is what you're meant for, Like, I feel like I had to stumble into my life. But
Yeah.
I love I love that it sounded like that test was so accurate that, hence here we are today, and
Yeah.
the profession that he's in.
Yeah. And statistically, service members will jump a job within a year after they get out. And he's held on to it. It's been 8 years, and,
That's
he's held on to
amazing.
it. And he's just got that level of commitment. I am not a finance girl. He
Mhm.
is. I do know that when we host retreats, we do have someone from AFMA always come
Mhm.
on and speak to the ladies about finances for military spouses. And
Mhm.
there's things I learned, like, as a stay-at-home mom, which I was,
Mhm.
your spouse can start a Roth IRA for you. And I did not know that. And so
Mhm.
I am like, hey, did you start a Roth IRA for me? He goes, yeah, you've had one for like 12 years. I'm like, cool. In my
Oh,
name.
amazing.
I didn't know I could even do it. He's like, yeah, you can do it. So, and then she brings up SPB and she says, do you need it? And her name is Sarah with ASMA. And she says, do you need it? That's not my answer. That's your answer.
Mhm.
And everyone goes,
Mhm.
well, we're really good at saving and we'll invest it. But will you?
Mhm.
Or will that absorb into your, because, like when you turn off Roku, Netflix, you save $15 a month. You're like, well, we'll save it. Do you? Or does that $15 just melt into your Navy Federal account and you never see it again? So we know
Mhm.
us, we know me, and we knew that we just need to set it and forget it and do SPB. Like, it made more sense, especially with the 4 kids. I mean,
Mhm. Mhm.
I got other people to look after should something happen. So it was an easy decision for us. We don't see the money. You know what I mean? It's just gone before you even know it's there. So I recommend that to people. Or you could be super great and invest it if that's who you are. But we are not doers like that. We set it and forget it. Though he is a financial advisor and he does invest, but it was easier for us just to be like, you're handled, Because if
Yeah.
we divorce, we've been married 28 years. Yeah. I will get 1 year of TRICARE because we were only married 19 years and 6 months when he was active duty. So I'll only hit that 15 year and get 1 year of TRICARE. We're not divorcing, but that's so crappy.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's so crappy. So women that are married 35 years, 1 year of TRICARE. I mean, you just have
Yeah.
to, as a spouse, like, cover your ass and just think of all the things in the long run. Like, what am I going to need? Could he die in a motorcycle or get COVID? Or, I mean, death happens all the time. It's not just in the military.
Mhm.
So just be
Yeah,
prepared.
absolutely.
Yeah. Be prepared. Boy
Yeah.
Scouts.
I love I love hearing how you said that you guys just know that you have to set it and forget it. finance is not a hobby for most people. It is, they're there for a reason. And that's just so great to hear the decision, the firm decision, the informed decision that you made with that. And then, of course, just recognizing that there are various ways to grow assets, if that's something you want to do. But to know that at the very least you have like something like the survivor benefit plan should anything happen. I mean, that's what it's there for,
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. And it got me to think about, you said earlier about like, it sounded to me that you didn't really realize till later that you had choice. Like you said in the military, it's like, hey, you have option A and option B, pick one. When did you start to realize that you had agency, like that you had more options than what were presented at the table? All right, and we're going to wrap up there for now. Once again, this is only part 1 of Teresa's interview. Next Thursday, we'll get into part 2 and more topics to come. So chat with you then. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're seeking a second opinion on the Survivor Benefit Plan, subscribe to our podcast now at InsideTheFort.com. That's InsideTheFort.com. Once you subscribe, you will receive a free download to the introduction of my book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan. Why? Because you've spent years holding it down for your family, and we are dedicated to helping you own what's next. See you on the inside at InsideTheFort.com, or we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.